Hi, everybody. It's Laura Keller here with the We Know Lanark County podcast, and I am here with Luis, who owns the Foodie Lu food truck in Carleton Place and the Ottawa area. So I thought I would open it up to Luis to kind of give us a bit of an overview of what he does with the food truck and what sort of what the philosophy is behind it. So do you want to take it away?
Absolutely. Thank you for having me on.
You bet.
So yeah, like she said, I'm Lewis. I own Foodie Lu. I started in Carleton Place last year. The community has been fantastic. Normally, I was doing events, red blacks, weddings, and things like that. But with COVID and how everything started to go with canceling events, I decided I wanted a permanent spot, and I am extremely grateful that I chose Carleton Place. So basically, what I am, if you haven't seen me, is I'm a fresh Italian street food truck. I make everything from scratch, fresh pasta, meatballs, everything like that, and it's actually all using my family's recipes going back to like 125 years from Italy, from Treviso, Italy. So,
Amazing.
we definitely take pride in what we do, and we love the Carleton Place community. So we're super happy to be back this year.
So I read that your family owned a restaurant in Bank Street on Bank Street, right? Is that Little Italy or?
No, it wasn't in Little Italy. It was right in the heart of Bank Street.
Okay.
Um, and yeah, it was called Fettuccini's. They were there for 30 years. My dad still does fresh pasta and stuff like that. He's out of Canatech. So that's where we make all of our fresh pasta is from his commercial kitchen.
Oh, nice.
And then everything else I make myself. And yeah, it's very passionate work of ours, and I really enjoy doing it.
Well, Italian food is like it's a real labor of love, right? It's not quick for the most part. All those things are like they're low and slow, and you take your time and you put love into each bite, right?
Absolutely. That was our biggest hurdle last year. We decided to open up 3 days, but we were working 5 days to prepare for three. So we ended up doing just Saturday and Sunday last year. I think my hours are going to switch a little bit this year. I'm focusing on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, but everything is still up in the air. But
Yeah.
like you said, it's not just a quick, take something out of the freezer or something. We make everything fresh daily. It takes time. Even just for my tomato sauce, it takes around 5 hours per batch. I make sure that it's up to
Wow.
my standard and, up to my family standard kind of thing. But yeah, it's something that I grew up with and something that I'm extremely passionate about.
So the food truck before you said you use mostly for like catering and weddings and stuff like that. Is that still something that you do as well, or is that sort of on the side?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. So I still book caterings and weddings. I have a few weddings booked for this year. Uh, I started off with doing Red Blacks games downtown Ottawa, which was, it was fantastic. It kind of just like threw me right into it. Like I bought my food truck, and then, my first contract was with the Red Blacks. So it was,
That's
no
amazing.
learning curve there. It was, thrown into 20,000 guests, and but I learned a lot. I had a lot of great mentorship from a lot of people, and it was really good. So once my first season was done, I was like, okay, I can do anything now. So yeah, I focused on weddings and catering for the past couple of years, but this year again, I'll have the permanent spot, but I will be doing weddings on the weekends.
Right.
So
Because when you think food truck, you think like the usual burgers and fries and hot dogs and stuff. Like you don't really think about pasta because it's a bit difficult to eat standing up, but you package it in a certain way that makes it easy to eat,
absolutely, yeah. So
whether you're
we
on a picnic table or right, you take it home, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So last year, because of a lot of the COVID restrictions, we weren't able to set up picnic tables and stuff like that. This year, we're going to have that option. People can come in and sit down. But yeah, everything is packaged easily. All of our sandwiches are obviously easy. Just wrap up and stuff like that. But yeah, all of our pastas in single takeout containers. You can take it home. What we also offer is prepared meals that are ready for your freezer. So we make prepared meals daily, and then we freeze them fresh. So they'll still be good for a few months in your freezer and still have that fresh taste to them. We're going to be focusing a lot more on that this year. So fresh pastas, lasagnas, chicken parmesans, things like that you can kind of take home and stockpile during the week, and instead of ordering out one night or something like that, you can just pop a lasagna in the oven, and it's just as good when we freeze it fresh to when you get it from us.
And it's such a nice alternative to your typical takeout, which is super greasy stuff and unhealthy. But with what you're doing with all the fresh ingredients and stuff like that, it's a good healthy take home meal that if people had more time, they would probably make for themselves, right?
Absolutely. Our biggest hurdle the last few years is the rise of gas prices and the rise of food costs, because like you said, we use everything fresh, and I'm sure we've all been at the grocery stores recently. Food costs have just gone through the roof.
Yeah.
Gas prices are through the roof. So I'm very lucky with where I'm at in Carleton Place, beside the rental village. I have my own power. I have my own parking lot. I have, everything that I need there. But
Yeah.
when I do weddings and stuff like that, like, people don't realize, it's $500 in gas just to take it there and back and run my generator all day and back. So
Yeah.
it gets fairly expensive, but at the same time, the quality that you're receiving coming from a food truck is quite remarkable. I'm definitely very proud with that. On the flip side, though, I have a lot of people coming up who haven't really heard of me, and they want French fries and burgers, which is
Yeah.
no problem. It's I understand that you see a food truck, you want that, but yeah, we definitely have a little different take on it, a different little twist. And I've seen, I love traveling, and all around the world, I've seen food trucks that are doing high end stuff out, and
Yeah.
it's just quite remarkable.
I'm addicted to the Food Network. I watch it all the time. And like the food truck race where they have so many different types of options, like things that you wouldn't even ever consider. It's a nice alternative, especially like Carleton Place is a small town. I'm from here. So like I grew up with chip trucks. That was the only option, right? So to have people like you in Carleton Place is such a nice thing to have. Like if you want something quick and easy, you don't want to have to go to a restaurant and sit down, um, and still have like a satisfying, healthy meal. It's great.
Absolutely, yeah, and that's again, that's why we love where we are. We're a little bit off the beaten path. We're not off a main road, but the reason why I'm okay with that is, we're not too far off. Like, we're on Hooper Avenue, like right across from the Desjardins Insurance and right beside the
Yeah.
rental village. But we have our own dedicated parking lot, lots of parking, and it's not too far away from anything. You just have to
No.
kind of know where we are. Last year, again, with all the hurdles I was experiencing, I didn't do a lot of advertising to our location, but we
Yeah.
still ended up ending the season on a very strong note. So, very grateful. We do like Valentine's Day meals and Mother's Day meals, and like this past Valentine's Day meal, I sold out within 3 days, and 99% of it was to Carleton Place residents. So it was, that was kind of my, okay, I think I'm going to stay in Carleton Place, because I
Yeah.
was, I was juggling a full-time job plus also working, and it was a
Wow.
lot for me to have the permanent spot set up. But I've juggled things around, and I'm extremely happy to be coming back.
We're a loyal crew.
Absolutely, yeah, I've definitely noticed that. I just the amount of regulars that I had, like, every weekend, I remember their orders, like things like that. It was quite awesome. So yeah, I'm extremely grateful.
It's a great community for that, because even though we're growing and the population is getting up there a little bit, like 12,000 people or whatever, it still is that small town feel where we we know people in line, we support our own, and it's so great that you found a place here, because we need something like you, um, to have that in our community. It's so cool. Um, do you have any like big plans for 2022, or is this sort of you're just kind of easing back into it after COVID, or
Yeah, I'm still easing back in. I am definitely going to be open more than I was last year. Like last year, I was only open on Saturdays and Sundays. This
yeah,
year, I'm probably going to do Wednesday to Friday. I know it's only one more day, but the biggest hurdle I had last year was, people want to go out and go to their cottages and stuff like that on the weekends. They
right,
want to feel, back to normal and stuff like that. So I did notice, once the summertime hit, it was a little bit slower because of
right.
that. And it's totally understandable. I want to go to the cottage on the weekends. I want to go fishing and do all that stuff. So
Yeah,
I'm going to be focusing during the week, and I'm going to be on Valley Eats. And yeah,
perfect.
I'm going to be offering more, again, like dinner service style. If you want to pick up prepared meals as well, I'll have more access to that. I changed my power up a little bit there, so I have more access to power. So I'll be able to, have other fridges and stuff like that I can hold more product, because that's the biggest problem with the food truck when
For
you're making
sure.
fresh food. I don't just have a freezer that I can pull everything out of. I have to keep a lot of fresh ingredients on there, to make sure that I'm serving the quality that I want. Because my
Yeah,
biggest pet peeve when I go to a food truck, that's selling other than fries and stuff like that, and the quality is not there, I'm like, why am I paying for this kind of thing? And
exactly.
we keep our prices very competitive. I'm not in this to retire next year, so we try and
Yeah,
keep it as low as possible. But what a lot of people need to really understand is just the rising food costs, and that we are using everything from scratch. Like we
yeah.
make everything, like even my bread gets baked fresh daily. Like it's just it's everything is how I want to eat it, and I like to eat. So I pass that on to the customers.
What's your most popular menu item?
So pasta wise, we do a fresh pulled pork mac and cheese. I slow cook my pulled pork for 24 hours, and fresh
Wow.
pasta and like really, really cheesy sauce. Like it's really good. Also the meatballs. I mean, like I mentioned before, like these meatball recipe is my great nona's, and it hasn't changed in over 125 years. So, the recipe stays the same. I'm doing my own take on it with like, my own sauce and things like that. But those are very popular. Sandwich wise, probably Italian deli, but
Yeah,
anything that people really have been eating, I've only heard really good things. I keep a smaller menu because I just want to focus on, the fewer things that, I don't like having a really, really big menu.
yeah,
I want to keep it small. So I have about 7 different sandwiches and, 3 different pastas. And then I normally do a special every single day.
right,
And, the special is, it's not, a lot of the older places that go, what do we got to get rid of?
right.
Let's make a special. No, like I make my special daily, fresh ingredients. Everything's fresh, fresh, fresh. I can't emphasize that enough. So yeah, it's been really good.
And sandwiches, it's such a simple concept, but good sandwiches, like they will take you to the next level, right?
Absolutely.
And yours,
Yeah,
like I know you pack yours full of meat, and it's like you said, freshly baked bread. All of those things make such a huge difference. It's not your grade two bologna sandwich, right? It's something
absolutely.
that's really special.
Yeah, we definitely fill it up. Like I said, I expect to get a sandwich on how I want it.
Yeah.
I'm 6'2". I'm not a small guy, and I like to eat, so I will give the same kind of sandwich that I want to eat to everyone
Yeah.
else. We put 150 to 175 grams of just meat in per sandwich,
Oh my
and then load it
gosh.
up with lots of fresh ingredients.
Yeah.
We were doing Caesar salads. I have a black pepper spaghettini meal with a Alfredo sauce and capicola ham and mushrooms and a splash of brandy, which was very, very good. That was my favorite meal growing up in my parents' restaurant. Um, so
Wow.
I wanted to reciprocate that on my menu. I haven't fully confirmed what my menu will be this year, but it's going to be a lot of the same things from last year. Saw what worked, saw what didn't work, and then I'm going to go from there. I still have about a month left until I open up my season there. Obviously,
Okay.
with just like how the weather's starting to get a little bit nicer right now.
Yeah.
I do park my food truck indoors, so I gotta de-winterize it and
Yeah.
get a few things installed to make sure that it's good for this season.
That's so great. And I love you've mentioned it a few times, just how old the recipes are. That idea of legacy. I know it's prominent in Italian culture for sure, but a lot of us have those recipes that have been passed down from generation to generation. And I think one of the things that people really appreciate about what you do is that it's it's so special. Like it's not East Side Mario's where it's, out of a bag. It's something that you and your family have put a lot of work into. What what's your family's take on this food truck? Like when you first started, what did they think?
They loved it. They were extremely supportive. My mom was actually a cooking teacher at Algonquin, so like I
Oh, no
grew up
way.
with just good food and cooking and all that stuff. So she actually retired my first year that I started. So I kind of picked her up sometimes, and she helped me a lot. She was very helpful. Same with my dad. Like we were making a lot of the fresh pasta there. He's still there working
Yeah.
long hours, but because he's so passionate about what he does.
Yeah.
And I even got my sister on board sometimes, helping me out at some events at the Red Blacks and stuff like that.
Right.
So it's really been, when I say the Foodie Lu family, it's literally the Foodie Lu family, that's helping.
Yeah.
This is my baby, my pride and joy. So sometimes we'll bash heads a little bit, but
Of course.
it's great. That's just how family is. But it's been
Yeah.
really nice,
And you're
especially that we can
creating
all
your
get
own
together.
legacy, right? Like you're starting your own thing. You're taking a little bit of the past and giving it a little bit of yourself. And I'm sure that'll carry forward as well into the future. Um,
Absolutely.
you mentioned COVID. How did that impact your business at the beginning when everything sort of hit the fan?
So my first year in 2019, when I started, I didn't have any events booked. I got extremely lucky getting the Red Blacks contract. And then, through the mentorship that I got, I, pick and chose events and stuff like that. So when 2020 hit before my season started, I had around 50 events booked, pre-booked already, and they were all canceled. Everything was
Oh
canceled.
gosh.
And it was very devastating to me because it was my year to kind of branch out and to get my name there and things like that. So I was still lucky in 2020. I set up at a vineyard off Carp Road on Friday nights, and it was really nice because people were able to, everything was outside, people were able
Yeah.
to get wine and fresh pasta and stuff like that. So it was great. But the events are where we make our money, and just to have all of those canceled was extremely devastating. And then coming back into 2021, there were so many limitations. No picnic tables, people can't eat there.
Yeah.
Just a lot of things like that we were fighting with. And then also on the same time, we were fighting against the restaurants. And I feel for every restaurant that have gone through
Yes.
COVID, because I know my parents owned a restaurant for a long time, so I can only imagine being closed for that long.
Yeah.
So when restaurants reopened, everyone was excited and wanted to go to restaurants. And I had, it was no fault of theirs, no fault of mine. It's just it felt like back and forth of, when I'm busy, when I'm not busy, and those were all due to restrictions that we had due to COVID. So
Yeah.
it was tough, and especially people, just the uncertainty, they didn't really want to leave their house. So that's why we did started offering the prepared meals. um, we would drop them off, or people would come and pick them up, and it kind of gave people that sense of comfort that they can get a restaurant style quality meal in the comfort of their own home.
Yeah. Yeah. I have some friends in the industry, and it was devastating for everybody. And like, there's so much overhead with restaurants, and it's a tough gig in the best of times. Um, not like rents and staff and product and insurance. Like, there's just so many things that most people going into a restaurant don't understand. And
They truly don't understand. It's very tough, and you know, I'm glad that we had access to serve, but a lot of people didn't really want to work after that. And
yeah,
like even now, I've been hard up to find staff who want to work,
yeah,
who are loyal, or just wanting to get out of the house kind of thing. So
yeah,
that's also a hurdle. And I'm only looking for one or two staff, whereas restaurants have to hire 10 to 20 to 30 staff. So
yeah,
I feel for them. It's just an incredibly difficult time to navigate, even now, however long after it's been.
yeah.
Um, it's just very difficult to navigate.
So while you have a voice here, what kind of staff are you looking for? See if we can.
So I was always like the front of house, and I would do a couple side things. Like we have different stations in there, so I would make the pastas, and I had a really good friend of mine working the sandwiches and stuff like that. I think what I'm looking for right now is someone just to do the cash and take orders and answer the phone, answer Valley Eats,
Yeah,
and then I'm gonna be doing everything in the back. Obviously, I like having my face in the front to welcome guests and stuff like that. Like my
yeah,
name's on the side of the truck. So obviously I want the first thing to see is me. But I'm willing to work out. So I mean, we're looking for all of the above of just,
yeah,
sandwich makers, or, front cash, and go from there, because doing it all yourself as much as I want to, you get burnt out, unfortunately.
yeah,
So
yeah.
it was tough last year for sure, but learning curves, and, just putting one foot forward.
Well, and the fact that you're coming back after all of that is, well, it's testament to you that you were able to structure your business in such a way that it was able to succeed last year, really, and that you've set it up this year to do even better. So you're obviously doing something right.
Absolutely. And, I can attribute that to, my parents, who were both extremely hard workers, or still hard workers. They taught me everything I really knew. Growing up, I grew up in the restaurant industry. I was there all the time,
Yeah,
um, learning how to cook at such a young age. I have a fantastic palate, so I just love creating things, and just figuring out how the market is and what people want to see. And
yeah.
it's been great. I really like it. Some days though, I wish I could pull stuff out of the freezer and just make some fries, or put a burger down and stuff, but majority of the time it's not like that.
You would know even if you did it, right?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, no, we're excited this year. We have a lot more opportunities with our power, because we had a lot of power restraints last year, and
Okay.
just a lot of learning curves being in Carleton Place. Like my Rogers cell phone didn't work where I was, so like
Right.
my internet barely worked. I couldn't get I had a few non-payments because my credit card machine wasn't working.
Right, right.
So now I'm under Virgin and Bell, and like I figured that out at the end of my season last year, but I'll go into this full one, full knowing that it's going to be okay. And then yeah, just like the power restraints, we upped our power this year, so we'll have a few more equipment in the food truck, which will enable me to do a lot more different
Right.
style of dishes and stuff. So yeah, we're extremely excited about that.
Yeah, we're so excited to have you back opening up. And obviously, your passion comes through. And I know when people come to the window, they see that as well. Everybody talks about it. I don't know if you know, but you're a popular topic of conversation in town. So we're, like I said, we're so happy to have you back, and we can't wait for you to open. Do you want to mention your website just in case people want to go check you out?
Yeah, so just to give everyone a fair warning, I'm more of a cook than a graphic designer. So I do have a website. It is a little bare, but so my website's foodielu.com. My Instagram and Facebook is Foodie Lu Ottawa. You can definitely find me out there. I'm way more active on Instagram and Facebook. You can definitely see where I'm at and stuff on the website. But yeah, so foodielu.com, and then Foodie Lu Ottawa for Instagram and Facebook.
Amazing. Well, we cannot wait to see you again this season. Let us know when you're opening up, and we'll see you very soon, hopefully.
Thank you so much. I greatly appreciate this, and thanks for having me on today.
It's been so nice chatting with you.
Yeah, you as well.
Hey, bye, Lewis.
Okay, bye-bye.